If you're watching this video, you are looking for insight on how you calculate pain and suffering after an auto accident case. And I hate to break it to you, but there is no formula. Clients come to me all the time and say, well, don't we just take the medical bills and multiply it by 3x, or I've even heard 5x, and that's how we get to what the settlement should be. And I'm here to tell you that if it were that easy, you would not need somebody like me. Hi, my name is Brian Glass. I'm a lawyer in Northern Virginia, and I represent people who've been hurt in auto accidents against insurance companies, and that's the only thing that I do, is help people maximize the values of their claims and take as much money out of insurance company pockets as we can. If it were a simple formula, you would not need lawyers, you would not need insurance adjusters. And the reason that it's not a simple formula is because the type of medical care that you receive and what the doctors charge for it and how long your injuries last are all important things that go into calculating what is a case worth. Now you can imagine if you have a $10,000 hospital bill and that's the only visit that you have, well, that case is worth far less than somebody who doesn't go to a hospital but gets $10,000 worth of physical therapy care over the course of 3 months, maybe, right? Their pain, suffering, and inconvenience is far higher than the pain, suffering, and inconvenience suffered by somebody who got checked out at a hospital one time. And that's exactly why we can't just multiply the medical bills by some amount, 3 or 5 or 2 or whatever, and come to what your case should settle for. Really what we're talking about when we're talking about the settlement value of the case is the lawyer is trying to give their best guess at what the case would be worth if you presented it to a judge or to a jury. And depending on your jurisdiction, in some smaller cases, you're going to go to a judge only, and in larger cases, obviously, you're going to be in front of a jury. And the reality is we are all just giving our best guess as to what the case is probably worth. We are assessing the risk that if we took the case to trial, you would do worse than the insurance companies offer. If we think you would do worse than the insurance companies offer, we tell clients to settle the case. If we think you would do better than the insurance companies offer, we tell people to try the case. And there's all kinds of risk associated with trial and costs associated with trial that I discuss in other videos on this channel. But that's all we're doing when we're trying to come up with the value of a case. And the things that go into our determination of the value of your case are the medical costs, how long you treated for, what kind of injuries you had, what kind of care you had, but also things that you don't control, like how bad was the damage to the car? Have you had injuries to that part of the body before? Frankly, are you a believable person or not? Sometimes it comes down to, dude, I just don't think a jury is going to like my client very much. And if a jury doesn't like my client, then they're not going to award that much money. And so we skew our settlement evaluations down or up based on client likability. So now that I've told you that there is no way to calculate settlement value, let me tell you how you maximize the settlement value in your case. So it's important that you go to all your medical care, follow all of the instructions that your doctor gives you. Because if I wind up in a situation where a doctor has suggested something, but my client hasn't done it, surgery or injections, but my client wants to say that I've got a lifetime long injury, well, judge or jury is not going to compensate you for a lifetime long injury if you haven't followed your doctor's instructions, right? Number 2, make sure you don't have any gaps in your medical care. Make sure you don't stop going to a doctor until you've actually been discharged. Some people feel better and they stop going, and that's fine, but you want to be signed off by a doctor that you are good to stop going to medical care, because often when you tell the doctor that you're done, the doctor signs you out, that's going to foreclose you being able to recover anything else. If you just stop going in the middle of care, you stop for 2 weeks because you feel better and there's no note about why you stopped, and then you return 2 weeks later, well, that's going to diminish the amount of money that you can recover at the end of the case, because it raises questions in the auto accident company's mind about were you really hurt. Credibility is a big, big thing. And so we have to be honest with our doctors and we have to be honest with the physical therapist about the amount of pain that you're in, where that pain is, and whether it's getting better or worse. When insurance companies spot inconsistencies or lies in your medical records, that's going to diminish the amount of money that they're going to give you in a case. And then lastly, you need to understand all of the rules that exist in your state about claiming things after an auto accident. You want to understand mileage reimbursement rates, how wage loss is calculated in your state, how the medical bills are calculated in your state, because those things drive settlement value sometimes as much, if not more than, the pain and suffering and inconvenience. If you want to increase the pain, suffering, and inconvenience value of the case, you've got to show why your case is different. You do not know how many people go to 10 or 12 weeks of physical therapy, and the only thing that they have to say about their pain was, my back hurt, I couldn't drive as much, I couldn't sleep very well, and if I stood for long periods of time, then my back really hurt, right? That's an average case, and that's going to yield an average result. Which is not to say that you need to make things up, but if you keep a log during the course of your medical care about the things that you couldn't do, about the pain that you had, about the day-to-day interactions with your pain, like it prevented you from going downstairs and doing laundry, or you bent over to put dishes in the dishwasher and it flared up and you had to lay on the couch the rest of the day. Like all of those little things add up because they build your credibility and they tell a coherent story about what happened to you and why you should be compensated for what happened to you. So keeping a log of your injury and the problems that you had with that injury is one of the things that really impacts settlement value and can drive the value of your case way up. If you're in Virginia and you have questions about the value of your case, maybe you have an offer from an insurance company and you just wanted to evaluate it, is it a good offer or is it totally out of the ballpark? Feel free to give us a call. We will always evaluate cases and let you know we can help you or we can't help you. But if you're in the beginning of the case, it's a great idea to hire a lawyer and make sure that you get all of these little tips and tricks and you have somebody following you, personally following you throughout the course of your case to help build your case. Because you get one opportunity to make a recovery from an insurance company, and if you make a misstep, it can really hurt your case.